Hello, everyone, and welcome to our May webinar on Side Gig Success, Launching Your Entrepreneurial Venture. My name is Mildred Mabirizi, and I will be co-presenting with Dr. Victoria Okotie. We are the co-founders of Touchpoint, and our mission here at Touchpoint is to empower, inspire, and provide you with innovative solutions to achieve your personal and your professional career fulfillment. Between all of us, we have 40 years of combined experience in corporate America and entrepreneurship. If this is your first time joining us, welcome, and we are glad that you're here. Otherwise, for those of you who have been attending our webinars, welcome. And we are excited too that you are joining us again. So, Dr. Victoria, as we launch ourselves, as we get started, let's start out with definitions so we can be able to differentiate things. So what is a side gig?
Great question, Mildred. So a side gig, sometimes called a side hustle or a side job, and it's a form of employment that people participate in or undertake in addition to their primary job. So it's a form of monetary activity where they earn income in addition to their primary job for exchange of a product or a service. And that product can be something they are reselling or creating, or a service can be something that they are skilled in or have knowledge about, and they're exchanging this for money. So side gigs are typically pursued to earn extra income, to explore a passion, to develop a new skill, or to just find personal fulfillment besides one's primary job.
So what I'm hearing is if I have, there are products that either we create and resell, and then there are services that, we exchange our skills and knowledge, and we exchange this all for a financial gain, money.
Certainly.
Okay, awesome. So for today's presentation, we will be talking about sources and benefits of having a side gig. We'll talk about the typical challenges and pitfalls that are experienced in side gigs. And at the same time, we'll talk about the strategies for success. And before we begin, let's take care of some housekeeping.
So for those who are joining us for the first time, welcome again. We would like to share a great resource with you, which we have shared with our past audiences. It's a book we authored, which is titled Innovate Your Career, Become Indispensable. And of course, you can download the book, access the book, purchase the book on several platforms, including Amazon. Grab yourself a copy because we know you will enjoy the read, and we will certainly incorporate some of the strategies in the book from the book in our presentation. At Touchpoint, we provide career resources for professionals like you. So we'd like to invite you to check out our website at touchpoint.org. You can access great resources. You can also listen to past webinar recordings and sign up for one of our sessions, which we will share more about at the end of our presentation. If you would like to reach out to us concerning a career question or need, you feel free to email us at info@touchpoint.org. And as we begin this presentation, we would like to ask you to save your questions to the end. You can post them in the chat and we will address them during our Q&A. Only the webinar presentation will be recorded.
All right. So, Victoria, I hear a lot from millennials and Gen Zs about gig economy. It sounds like they have really embraced, gig economy as a means to achieve financial stability, personal fulfillment, career, development. They absolutely embrace it, for that, for flexibility, autonomy, which they can do side to side and be able to gain that financial value, as well as be able to, get that personal satisfaction. It's actually seems like for them, this growing trend provides that freelancing and independent work, which looks like that's, where the future is going. What are your thoughts about this?
Oh, you're absolutely correct because the stats, you know, the surveys out there confirm. For instance, there was a study done by Deloitte, and they found out that over 50% of millennials and Gen Z, these are professionals born after 1980, over half of them participate in the gig economy in some capacity. And the study also showed that 57% of them say that they would consider leaving their current jobs for a more flexible gig opportunity. So we're seeing a lot of professionals wanting that flexible working arrangement, remote working. They want to have that work-life balance, and they would actually consider leaving their current jobs for something that offers them more flexible options. I thought that was amazing.
That is amazing. I
Yes,
agree with
and
that.
then not to mention, there was a survey done by Bank Rates,
Mhm.
and they found out that nearly 45% of working Americans have a side hustle. I mean, think
Wow.
about that. This is almost half of working Americans have
Mhm.
some form of side gig. And amongst those, the younger generation, again, the millennials and the Gen Zs, are
Mhm.
more likely to earn $1,000 or more
Mhm.
each month compared to the older generation. So we see a driver for having a side hustle is that extra income, that supplemental income. And it looks like the younger generations are being more successful in this compared to the older generation.
Wow. $1,000. That's, it's really, really interesting because I have heard in another survey that was done by Bankrate that 55% of millennials and Gen Zs pursue side gigs to earn extra income. And about 25%, they do that to, for disposable income so that they could use it, in other things. And then 16%, pursue it for, for passion. So it seems like money is a
The
driver here.
driver, money is the driver. Whilst passion is good, I mean the percentages show that while passion is good, but you have more people doing it to earn extra incomes or even help them in case their primary jobs falls through. There's another survey I would like to share, and that was by
Mhm,
Fiverr and
mhm,
YouGov. This was done in 2019, and they found out that 51% of millennials 51%, that's over half.
over
And
half.
44% of Gen Zs believe that having a side gig is essential for their career development and for their personal growth. So we are seeing
Wow.
that people are not finding that fulfillment in their
Mhm,
primary roles and are looking to side gigs to be able to have that experience where they are able to tap on other skill sets they have or find fulfillment in their career through their side gig. I just want to highlight one more stats, and that was
mhm,
a survey done by Freelancers Union. This
mhm,
was called the Freelancing in America survey, and
mhm,
they found out that the younger generation are more likely more likely to view freelancing as a long-term career choice
Wow.
compared to the older generation. In essence, this is not just a trend, right? This is
Mm-hmm.
something that is going to stay. More people are looking to freelancing and side gigs as a longer term career choice compared to the older generation.
Wow. So what I'm hearing that we can glean and summarize from these statistics is the why have a side gig is extra income, supplemental income,
Supplemental
right?
income, yes,
Is generate that additional income that that one can earn beyond their main job.
yes, yes.
What else?
Then for not even the income, additional income, but that income could also be a supplement income, right? Because they want to use it to pay off a debt, or they want to use it to increase their savings, or for college, or to take care of family, or, because we see the cost of living has increased and is driving many people to seek additional income. But they also do that because side gig offers flexibility. It
Mm-hmm.
offers flexibility in terms of when and where you work, right?
Well,
So many
yes.
individuals are managing them alongside their primary job,
Mm-hmm.
because they value flexibility, but beyond that, they also value autonomy. So side gigs give professionals the ability to set their own schedule, and
Mm-hmm.
this can complement their primary job. Yes.
So what I also got from these statistics was the other side around skill development, right? If the millennials and Gen Zs are saying that it's essential for career development, then what I'm understanding is, hey, you can pursue side gigs and gain different skills that you would not gain from your primary job. And at the same time, because there's a variety of fields that you can get into as you're doing a side gig. It could be creative work, writing, designing, programming, consulting, manual labor, dog walking, whatever it is that they are, things that you can get that you would normally not get from your regular job, your primary job.
Yes, and not just even developing new skills, but tapping into some skills you have, or interest or passions. Like it's an
Mhm.
outlet for pursuing your personal interests that are not fulfilled by your main job. But there's something also that side gig does. Side gigs can evolve or are evolving into full-time businesses,
Yes.
into startups. So
Yes.
this just opens the door in terms of the potential for significant growth, for new career paths, and for fulfillment. So in essence, we're seeing the financial stability, we see the career diversification, we see the networking and the personal fulfillment. These are the reasons why most professionals are embarking on a side gig or side hustle.
All right. So now we've talked about the definition between the difference between a side gig, or the difference between a side gig and an entrepreneur. We've talked about the why, right? Then now let's talk about some of the sources of side gigs. What are some of the sources of side gigs?
A big one, we mentioned freelancing. So
Mm-hmm.
there's so many opportunities in freelancing. People, are into writing
Mm-hmm.
as a freelancer, design. It could be graphic
Mm-hmm.
design. It could be web development, consulting, photography. It could be freelance work that these are skills they have or they developed and they are using it for secondary source of income. It could also be part-time
Yes.
jobs.
Mm-hmm.
As simple as working, in a retail store. But also, we are seeing a lot of the food delivery and the
Mm-hmm.
grocery delivery and the ride sharing and all those services that come with part-time work. People are embarking on them for a side business. What else,
Yes,
Mildred?
there is, online businesses,
Oh, yes,
selling
yes,
product
online
on a,
business.
on a platform, drop
Mm.
shipping, which like I've told you, I have put my foot into the drop shipping. There's affiliating marketing.
So
There's
sorry to interrupt you. What is
go
drop shipping? What is
Ah.
affiliate marketing?
Yes, yes, yes. So drop shipping would be where you have an online store, and that online store you get suppliers who would be bringing product to your online shop, and you're not the person managing the inventory. So you sell something, and
Uh,
then whoever your drop shipper is, they would fulfill that order. And affiliate marketing, it's still, you would have a website, and on that website post advertisements for different companies. It could be a brick and mortar store that you advertise for, and then you get a commission for doing that advertising. So that's what
oh,
that is.
nice, very nice.
Yes.
Well, of course, it's
Mhm.
blogging. A lot of people are
Yes.
blogging. Yes,
Blogging, and that with blogging comes the writing, but there's also the vlogging. So
yeah,
that's also another opportunity where in vlogging you have a video, say, of your life, or record it. So it's creative, writing or documentary
content.
is what I
Yeah.
call it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also the teaching and tutoring piece where people
Mm-hmm.
offer lessons, music lessons or some skills. It could also be academic tutoring, right? If they're
Mm-hmm.
good in academics. I could also be coaching. We see a lot of coaches now, life coaches, fitness coaches, or even online courses. There are lots of online course options today. But then there's also this people using their research skills. There's a lot of research opportunities and surveys.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of surveys. People do that for side gigs. What else, Mildred? What other sources of side gigs?
For me, the other one, there are two that I really do like, and I'm going to start with my favorite one, which is the personal services, right?
Okay.
Because it's a service that we use, like outsourcing, whether it's valet, whether it's pet care, people taking care of your pets, grooming them, walking them, or laundry service, being able to do people's laundry and fold it up and send it back, and cooking, just being able to, if your hand is in cooking and you enjoy it, cooking meals for people and sending them, or coming into their homes and being a chef. And then there's also the creative projects, be it music, performing music gigs, or stand-up comedy,
Right.
or homemade products. So
Yeah, it's like
yes.
crafts or food
Yes.
items,
Mm-hmm.
handmade goods. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, absolutely. All right.
Yeah.
Why don't we share with our audience platforms? Because there's quite a lot of side gig platforms. What are some
Mm-hmm.
of them?
My favorite is going to be Poplin because outsourcing, it's in the personal service care, outsourcing, being able to pick up, people's laundry. It's a platform where you sign up as a laundry professional. Okay, Laundry Pro.
I
You
like
pick up
that.
people's, yes, isn't that cool? You pick up people's laundry and bring it home, or take it to a laundromat and do their laundry, fold it up and package it up nicely and return it. That's an option. Then the other one, just the switching from a laundry standpoint, still in the personal care, is the rover and wag here that is on the screen, where either you dog sit or you walk somebody's dog. Hey, you're taking a walk, might as well be paid for it, being able to walk somebody's dog.
Oh yes, yes. A lot of people, maybe they may be going on vacation and they need someone to pet sit or
Yes.
or even water their plants or walk their
Yes.
dogs. There are quite a lot of platforms that offer a side gig for people who in the design space. There's a 99
Mhm.
design. If you're
Mhm.
into graphic design work, you can help clients create logos or websites or visual content. There's Behance, that's a social
Mhm.
media platform for you to showcase your portfolio. There is also the field agent. So field agent allows professionals to be able to audit stores or drive trials or generate reviews, connect with shoppers. There's another one which is quite interesting, which I found out, and that is in the space of of handiwork. So
Mhm,
if you're good with your hands and you're good in repairs or maintenance, there's handy,
mhm.
where you can offer your services. My favorite is Thumbtack. I've used it quite a number of times. You can offer your services for for handy work. Um, and there's also other platforms that they're more popular platforms like Upwork or Fiverr. These are marketplaces, are freelance platforms where professionals can offer their services and collaborate. I think those are the two popular ones, Upwork and Fiverr, because they are global freelance platforms. What else, Mildred?
So there are others like, Amazon, where it's a marketplace that
Yes,
you
of course,
could, be
Amazon.
able to sell product. This is a good place for drop shipping, as well as eBay, where you do sell products. But there are others where I thought clarity for me was a really, easy one. You have experience, you have expertise in an area that you can provide advice to people, whether you do your taxes and you are really good at doing your own taxes and you can provide people with that advice, being able to sign up on that platform, and when people call you, you charge them either by minute, 30 minutes, or an hour, 15 minutes for your expert advice.
Yes, yes. Quadrant strategies is another one. Remember, we we experienced that
Mhm,
quadrant strategies. You can participate in paid surveys.
mhm.
Container is a job board. Flex Job is another job board where freelancers can find, writing gigs or flexible or remote jobs. Another one for writers is Medium Partner Program, right?
Mhm.
That allows writers to earn money based on the engagement their stories receive from their members. Let's not forget Etsy, Mildred. Etsy,
Yes,
yeah, the marketplace for
yes.
handmade vintage items, craft supplies, and many more.
Yes, I don't want to forget also VidKid. If you are, good at being able to teach English, this is, an online language lesson app that you can teach Chinese kids English. But at the same time, there's one that is not here. That is a tutoring service, which is Chegg Tutors, is signing up and provide tutoring skills from an academic standpoint to young people or to people who need it.
Yes, we added also the higher ed jobs. Some may not be aware of that, but it's not necessarily teaching. If you're interested in administrative work in higher ed organizations, colleges, universities, that's a great one. And there's also TopTal. TopTal is able to connect professionals with companies in search of software development, design, finance, quite a wide variety of um, of resources. So I think, Mildred, these are some good um, platforms that our
Yes.
listeners can they can take. You can take a snapshot, or you can also access our
Resource.
resources and recording to refer to opportunities um, for yourself or for a friend.
Yes. So we've talked about sources, but of course there must be challenges and pitfalls, right?
Right.
Let's talk through what some of the challenges and pitfalls are for side gig. I know this one sits really for me as a passionate one because of experience. And the first one we'll start out with is time management.
Yes, time
Being
management.
Yes, being
Mm,
able to balance your side gig with your primary job as well as your personal life can be really challenging. And if not managed properly, honestly, this, you become too overcommitted with too many responsibilities that can result into poor performance, both in your job and also in your side gig, and then also lead to a workload stress. So that's, two things here is the time management. If not managed really well, which most of the times people have side gigs, this challenge and pitfall is a reality that leads into workload stress and being burnt out.
Yes, and there is another one I think is worthy of mention, and that has to be a big one because it has to do with finances. So
Mhm,
starting a side gig can often, not always, can often
mhm.
require some form of upfront investment, right? And
Yes.
of course, this investment may not pay off immediately, but then there's this the earnings can be unpredictable and inconsistency, especially at the earlier stage, right? And
Mhm,
sometimes, when people get quite excited, they may not have thought through the financial commitment and the risks, right? And so they
mhm,
start the side gig, but then they realize that, wow, in order to grow, they need to put in more investment. So they start to experience scalability issues, right? And
mhm,
so the side
mhm.
gig may remain small scale because, first of all, they have time constraint, and then they have resource constraint or finance constraint, and this can create, of course, stress. There's another aspect to the financial piece, and that is realizing that as you embark on this side gig, you're earning extra income. That income can push you in a different tax bracket. There are also legal and regulatory issues that to be
Yes.
considered. So if you have a
Yes.
business, there may be business licenses you require, or if
Mhm.
you're selling food products, you may need to take into consideration regulatory issues, right? Or you
Mhm.
experience penalties. There's also the piece of employment contracts. Talk to us about that one, Mildred.
Yes. So for me, right here, and in the legal space, is when you have contracts or you're making contracts that could violate, could not compete clause within that your primary job. And then also the conflict of interest with policies with your main employer. And it goes also back to when you are not managing, for me, that time really well, is that workload stress. You could have conflict of interest with your job, not being able to deliver or perform and be able to complete your job, your primary job requirements.
Yes, of course. And so we see a lot of people experiencing that split focus between their full-time job and their side gig job. So instead of having that fulfillment, they're experiencing a decrease of productivity in both areas, right? Because they're wearing
Yes.
multiple hats and they're struggling to prioritize. And there's also the piece about business planning. So
Yes.
without a clear business plan and in embarking or running a side gig, there can be poor decision making, right?
Mm-hmm,
So, for
mm-hmm,
instance, if a professional hasn't done adequate market research, right, on their
mm-hmm,
target market, and they may
mm-hmm,
realize that, ooh, what they thought it was going to be was not what they expected, right?
mm-hmm,
So there's this,
mm-hmm.
disappointment. They may find out that running a side gig with limited financial resources is restricting their growth opportunities. So they're having demand for their product or demand for their services, but they're not able to scale. They could
Yes.
also experience that they're lacking certain skills. So
Mm-hmm,
whilst they're good at what they do, they may be lacking in skills like finance or bookkeeping or social media,
mm-hmm.
or project management. And those skill gaps can be hindering the growth of their side gig.
Yeah, and you know what, Vicky, on this one, the insufficient, to me, I bucket that into the lack of the business planning and the lack of market research into insufficient planning, where many times it's we think we go, oh yeah, I can do this, especially if we're needing that extra income or it's passion driven. It's like, oh, I can do this, I can do this and that. But when we lack that really good structure of having, hey, this is what I am planning to do, and this is the research around, like you said, it leads into not being able to have a good plan of how do I make sure that my customers are happy, right? Which rolls into the quality control that impacts, is a challenge and impacts side gigs, is that inconsistency. Because we haven't thought about the full big picture, is we lack that consistency, like we are always delivering that high quality product and that our customer is satisfied.
Yes, I think we could also mention the personal sacrifices that side gig comes with. So it
Mhm,
encroaches on personal time. For instance,
mhm,
one may have their 8 to 5, right? But then
mhm,
when do they do their side gig? In the evenings, on
mhm,
weekends. But
mhm,
this may take out of their personal time or family time. So it may be
mhm,
reducing their leisure time. It could
mhm,
also lead to strained relationships with their family members because they're not present, they're constantly busy, right?
mhm,
And that
mhm.
increased stress can negatively impact their physical health, their mental health, and then they start to experience burnout. They're
Yes.
experiencing burnout because they are working long hours to sustain their side gig. And so the initial excitement fades over time
Mhm.
as the side gig becomes more of a chore than a passion.
Yes, then we lack that sustainability of how we're going to sustain that, not only the side gig, but then also sustain our primary role,
Right,
right?
right.
So we've talked about the challenges. How then do we make sure that we are successful?
I think we always begin with having a clear goal.
Mhm.
Yes. Do you want to talk about that one?
Yes, yes. We having goals and setting up goals and is really, really important. This was, just a plug here. If this is your first time joining us, this is where we started off with our webinars talking about how to, understand your values and how to really, really set clear goals. But here more so, it is really important to define your objectives. What is it that you want to achieve in your side gig? Is it extra income? Is it skill development? Do you want to pursue a milestone? And then after you've understood those goals, being able to set up milestones and break your goals into achievable milestones that you can track the progress. How are you moving? Have you accomplished what you were thinking to accomplish? And then pivot if the pivot needs to be changed or flexibility needs to happen here.
Yes, so certainly. So for instance, you may say, okay, I want to start a side gig this year for
Mhm.
extra income. And then you identify what you want to do. Then how do you want to go about it? Why are you doing this? What do you hope to accomplish? And I think very often a lot of
Yes,
us become very aggressive in terms of our goal setting and
yes.
milestones, right? And so
Mhm.
because we become aggressive and we're not seeing this achievable, we're not achieving our goal, we become discouraged, right?
Yes.
We want to grow too quickly, and or we pack too much in the few hours we have. And so
Mhm.
it's important to define your objective, and then as you set your milestones, it has to be achievable, right? So in a
Yes.
sense, it could begin by, okay, I'm going to dedicate 2 hours every day, or
Mhm.
4 hours over the weekend for
Mhm.
my side gig, so that it
Yes.
doesn't interfere with your personal life, with your
Mhm.
primary job. I'm going to focus on growing this fast, in terms of your client, or your the volume of delivery,
Mhm.
or the revenue. I'm going to grow at this pace so that I am able to have that balance with my primary role.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing you say is your goals are set real clearly, and then you start to manage your time effectively by having a schedule that says, this is the time I work on my side job and on my side gig, and these are the tasks, and then prioritize your tasks really well. These are the tasks that I need to complete, if it's a high impact project, or if it's writing a business plan. These are the things that I need to complete. So managing your time effectively is also what I'm hearing here, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes, absolutely,
Then there
absolutely.
is the other one, is as you have managed your time really well, then stick to making sure that you deliver quality work, right? Maintaining high standards, ensuring that you meet and exceed your customers expectations.
Expectations, yes.
That way there is a positive reputation, isn't it?
You're right, because when people start to rely on you for a product or a service, right? This goes back to your reputation. If you promise today and not deliver tomorrow, you lose clients, you lose
Mhm.
opportunities, your demand drops, right? And it ultimately impacts your performance. I believe another important piece here is to continue to develop. If you offer some form of music lessons, you must continue to invest and hone your skills so that you're
Mhm.
giving your best. If you're offering a product, you want to continue to innovate the product so you're giving the best. If you want to, if you understand that you are lacking in financial skills, it's important to invest in time. For instance, I'm going to learn, QuickBooks, so I'm going to learn, how to, build my social media presence, because by continuously learning and developing your skills, that side gig can potentially grow into a full-time business.
Yes. The other one is about maintaining an online presence. I know this one is a passion of yours. Talk
Yeah.
to us about it.
Well, we see that the social media marketing and digital marketing is driving marketing in ways that has never been done in history, right?
Mhm.
Right. So
Mhm.
people understand you must have a presence online, right? And
Mhm.
when you create that presence, you got to maintain it. There are so many platforms to do this, but maintaining a professional profile, showcasing your best work, your having an online portfolio, it helps to attract, clients and customers. In networking and marketing yourself, it could be attending events, face to
Mhm.
face or virtual, connecting with people, expand your network, because you cannot just tap into your limited personal network, right? You need to
Mhm.
promote your services and your products on social media. It could be even having a personal website, and
Mhm.
definitely there is the word of mouth. So when people hear about your products or your services, then demand grows and the opportunity grows from that.
And you are absolutely right. It's maintaining that reputation goes also in how you communicate, to the customer. Say, for example, because there are always things that are beyond our control that would happen, how you communicate and maintain that clear, timely conversation with your clients and your customers, handling everything with professionalism and courtesy, because things happen. Some are within our control that, hey, it's I apologize, this slipped or whatever it is. But having that excellent customer communication also sets you apart, and it sets you apart as you are building your network and your marketing brand or your brand.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's also worth mentioning the need to be adaptable, right?
Yes.
To be resilient, to monitor your progress, because initially you may try several side gigs and some may work, some may not work. And as you
Mhm.
embark on them, they grow and you learn, right? You're adjusting your strategies, adjusting your approach, finding new opportunities. It's important to stay motivated and persistent even when you're facing challenges or setback. And of course, it's also important to set boundaries. I don't know if you mentioned that, but setting
Mhm.
boundaries so you're not overwhelmed, so that you
Yes.
can outsource some things if you need to. I
Mhm.
think it's important for us to talk about the legal and tax considerations. While some side gigs may need a legal structure, that is, you may need to set up a sole proprietorship or LLC. You may need to have a tax accountant. You may need to understand the implication of this business and ensure that you're complying with tax regulations as you earn income.
Before we move any further, Vicky, I would like us to talk about managing finances wisely, because we did talk about finances as a challenge, which is really a challenge. But here it is, in order to be able to succeed, is managing finances wisely, having a budget and keeping track of this is the income that comes in, these are the expenses, and that budget will actually be able to help to be able to manage the taxes and understanding what is the perfect compliance here, but also setting aside a portion of your earnings in that sense for taxes, for investment, and also being able to account for your expenses. Anything else here in the
Yes.
finances from you?
I'm really glad you mentioned the finances. I think that is the difference between a hobby and a side gig, right? And
Mm-hmm.
very quickly, a side gig can become a hobby because
Yes.
one may find out that they are actually pulling money from their primary income to sustain the side gig over
Mm-hmm.
time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's
Mm-hmm.
why I'm glad you mentioned keeping track of your income and expenses and making sure that, say, for instance, you decide to, do ride share, or deliver groceries or food. You're using your vehicle. There are costs to that. You have miles on your vehicle, you have gas, you have maintenance, and so at the end of the day, you have to make sure that what you're earning exceeds what you are spending. So having that clear finance management is important. I think we must we
Talk
cannot.
about mentorship.
Yes, mentorship. Yes, you read my mind. Because um this is not a space where you need to reinvent the wheel. There are
Yes.
people who are having other side gigs that you can learn from. They can offer guidance and advice. You can also participate in communities where you can get resources and support. And by implementing all these tips, you can effectively manage, grow, and succeed in a side gig. And ultimately, this side gig can be so successful that it becomes a full-time startup or entrepreneurship venture, which we're going to be talking about next time.
Yes, that would be our part two of this session, because as we're putting this together, we realize that there is more when side gig succeeds and it becomes a business. How do you transition to make sure that you manage? But we did talk about being able to seek for mentorship, being able to seek for that coaching. Talk to us about some of the things that Touchpoint has that could help our listeners be able to be successful in their primary jobs as well as in their side gigs.
Yes, Touchpoint, we are here to support professionals as they explore um, side gigs they've started, side gigs that they want to grow, and they may want to have uh, someone to speak to. And we're here. We offer sessions. We have a power session. It's just a 30-minute session. We have advisory sessions if you need help with goal setting, with planning. We also offer monthly coaching sessions, and this covers a wide gamut of everything we've talked about today, including it could be including personal branding, which is very important. Please sign up. The slots are filling, and we want to be able to support your career goals. We're also running a summer discount for our resume clinics. If you refer a friend, you get a free book, right? You get a
Yes.
free book. Finally, we are very excited to continue part two of our session, Side Gig Success, Launching Your Entrepreneurial Venture. This time, we will focus more on the next phase, which is building your entrepreneurial venture. So please sign up on our website or on Eventbrite.
All right, so we have come to the end of our presentation. It is now time for Q&A. We will stop the recording now. And the floor will be open. Please drop your questions in the chat box or feel free to come off mute and ask your question.